Hello, everybody. My name is Dan Eisenberg, and this is another, probably the 25th Scale Up Milwaukee Hangout that we're doing. And we have with us Teresa Esser, who I allow to introduce herself in just a minute. But word about Scale Up Milwaukee, we are supported by a wide range of local and state institutions and now national, including WEDC, the GMC, the Mellows Foundation, IBM is now a supporter of the Mandel Group, and many others institutions, and we always welcome more involvement. The theme of Scale Up Milwaukee is to create a growth-obsessed and growth-enabled environment in the southeast Wisconsin region. I have to say that it's starting to work. More and more companies are indeed growing more and more rapidly. One of the names that keeps coming up over and over again, of course I've met her, Milwaukee's a small place, is Teresa Esser. And she's a mainstay of what you might call the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Milwaukee. So, Teresa, just introduce yourself, say hi, and give a couple of quick sentences about who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Teresa Esser. I'm the Managing Director of the Silicon Pastures Angel Investment Network. So, Silicon Pastures puts on 8 meetings per year for angel investors to get together and share due diligence on deals. So in order to put on those meetings, we need to do 3 different things. We need to identify investors who are interested in supporting the community and making money and working together and sharing due diligence. We need to invite those people to come to our meetings. Then we need to identify companies that are looking for capital, and then we need to run a process where we match the value that we can add as angel investors and the work that we can do with the companies that can benefit from our work and our effort. And then we...
So, and you're a Milwaukeean, a native?
Yes, so I was born in Waukesha. I went to Waukesha South High School. I went to Boston for 12 years. I came back in 2004, and I'm happy to be here.
One of the schools that Teresa went to, as I know anyway, was a little place called MIT. So there's some significant brain power in front of us. So just coming back to Silicon Pastures, how many deals have you guys done so far?
We've done about 25 deals under my leadership. The group was founded by Jeff Rusino, and so it's been going since 2000. I am involved in 25 deals, but the way we have the group set up, we have 8 meetings a year. We bring in 2 or 3 companies per meeting. And sometimes investors go ahead and invest and don't even tell me what they're doing. When the group goes forward, then we share due diligence. We'll put an LLC together, but there are a lot of companies that have passed through and gotten benefit one way or the other.
Maybe even more than 25. So some of it's groupie and some of it's partisan. So question. So you know it's in 15 years. That's probably relatively, I'd say, mature in the angel investing world, although they're older ones. And so there's a lot of accrued experience. What we're interested in is companies that actually grow. And I'm just guessing of the few dozen deals you've done, some of them, of course, natural failed. Some of them have sort of not gone anywhere, but some of them actually broken out and grown. What were some of the ones that really took off from a revenue point of view?
The 2 ones that come to mind are Clearant and Forte Research Systems. Those are 2 that were gave us good liquidity events. Forte Research Systems is based in Madison. They do cancer research, cancer software to automate the cancer research process. I guess it's enterprise software for cancer research centers. They're expanding beyond the cancer research center to do different kinds of testing. And then Clearant was a credit card processor. When we got involved, I noticed that Norm Tice, the former chairman of the board of MasterCard, was on the board of directors, and they were growing great guns. This was in St. Louis, Missouri.
So how big is big when we talk about in terms of revenues? What were some of the? Give us some just rough idea of scale.
Well, so these are companies that kind of are, I would say, under the radar. They don't really like to talk about their revenues. So we can talk about multiples. What did we do? How much did we make?
My question is about, I understand that, but a company with no revenues at all could be sold for its technology. And I guess, so let me ask you the question.
Interested in?
0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to $20 million revenue, what sort of category are we talking, or hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue?
When we begin looking at a company, it usually has a couple $100,000 of revenue.
Okay.
So companies will come to us with any amount. It could be pre-revenue. We will gravitate toward those companies with a couple $100,000 of revenue. We'll like to invest in those, and we expect them to get an exit when they have 5 or 10 or 15 million. It's hard to find a company for angels. We typically get bought out when it's bought out or recapitalized when the company has 5 or 10 million in revenue, because there are so many private equity firms that want to get in when the company has 10 million in revenue.
Right. So what's the difference? Give some thoughts about the differences of the companies that meet those expectations. That really have significant revenues and seem to be adding value to customers in a scalable way. Some of the examples you gave on the one hand, and those that you thought would make it, but they really didn't. What's some of the differences when you look back on it?
Let's see. The thing that comes to my mind is sort of the feeling that I get when I'm sitting in the room with the CEO. This person is. Usually if the person comes across as being just very solid, I think of them kind of like a tank, like just a Sherman tank, like there's nothing, it's just they're extraordinarily solid. Those companies do well. And if it's anything else, it's not as good. So I'm looking for someone, the feeling, so I am looking for, when I sit down with the CEO, I've been told this by someone I respect a great deal who I interviewed. The Navy has very good tests for determining who has the mental ability to serve on a submarine, and if you get clearance to serve on a submarine by the U.S. Navy, you will be a good CEO. So I'm looking for that level of equanimity, balance, resilience. That's the thing that's helped me the best. Often the person has an accounting background. Not always. Obviously the CEO needs to be a sales-oriented CEO. But the sales-oriented CEO with an accountant following close behind is very good.
Teresa, what you're describing is completely counter to the popular stereotype of the good entrepreneur who's the snazzy, innovative, flashy, out-of-the-box thinker. You're really describing sort of like, and the submarine's good. That's sort of like the epitome of in the box is a submarine commander.
Oh, they could be pursuing a wonderful goal. They just need to do it in a disciplined manner. The business needs to be a disciplined business. So we are looking for disciplined businesses that can get through our question and answer process, that they can prepare for our meeting and prepare for our questions such that you can see all the answers laid out before you ask them.
Do you think it's to the point now where you have a system for identifying them, or is there still a lot of? We have a pretty well developed process. We have a process for getting our deals every month. Let's see, the system for finding the best ones. So I look for, I want a disciplined person who knows how to make outbound phone calls. So I wait for an entrepreneur to call me, or else I will call them, and they have to return the phone call. The call back is very, very important. The telephone interaction is very, very important. Should be followed up with something electronic. An email is great to follow up. Hopefully the email is initiating another telephone interaction. So I can hear a lot on the phone with the entrepreneur. I learn a lot about the person just by listening to their voice on the phone, and where they go with the questions, and then the way that they follow up. We just made an investment in a company. The accountant initiated the interaction. I was on the phone. I'm like, it's an accountant. It's probably pretty good. Do you have a salesperson there? Yes. He handed it off. He brought the salesperson down onto the phone call, but the accountant followed up and closed the deal. So it was a good, a really good example of how this company did well. So the other thought that comes to mind is the folklore in the world of investing in, let's say, call them early stage companies. The folklore is, out of 10, and I call it folklore because I think it can be questioned. I've been a general partner of a $75 million venture capital fund, Series A fund. So I'm familiar with the world that out of 10 investments, 1 or 2 will be very, very successful, 3, 4 or 5 will be failures. So I went and I looked at the baseball statistics, and it turns out that, and I looked at batters who strike out a lot and batters who hit home runs a lot. It turns out there are statistics about this, and there are significant numbers of heavy home run hitters who never strike out. Do you think that your fund is learning how to be one of those home run hitters that also has a low strikeout record?
We're definitely moving in that direction. So we're learning, we're getting better and better by doing this multiple times. And you know, what we're doing is we're listening carefully to what the acquirers want to acquire. We're letting the large corporations tell us where we should be going. And that is one of the reasons why I have moved the Silicon Pastors office into the MWork building, Midwest Energy Research Consortium, so I can get into meetings with large corporations where they say, this is what I want. If I was a venture capitalist, this is what I would invest in. And I say, oh, it sounds like that's a good company. I would never have found it if I hadn't been here listening. But that makes perfect sense. And you're the one I want to listen to, large corporations. So please tell me where I should be looking.
So if I were an entrepreneur in the Milwaukee area and I wanted to grow a company, and if I didn't want to grow a company, I wonder why would I be an entrepreneur? Let's say I want to grow a real significant company. I'd come and I'd sit at your doorstep. Whether you invested in me would be one thing, but I want to know, okay, what are those ingredients for success? And what you're telling me is I've got to be very disciplined, very systematic, very focused. I've got to build a team of people, use the salespeople, the accountants, and so on. And I've got to think like a big company in a way.
Yes, because you want to be acquired by a big company. We want you to be acquired by a big company. We want the big company to acquire you in 3 to 5 years for a price that's 3 or 5 or 10 times greater, more than what we paid.
So we've promised to keep these hangout sessions short, but I really need to touch on another area of activity that's completely different. You've been involved in bringing Korean partners, Korean investors, and marketing partners into the region. Can you just tell us what that's all about?
Yes. So we are the manufacturing belt, the industrial belt of the United States. Our best friend in Asia is Korea. There are people in Korea who want to work with us.
Do people know that? I mean,
So there was, we have spent a lot of time and energy helping Korea. We send soldiers over there. They appreciate the work that we did. When I go to Korea, I say, I am Teresa Esser. I am from General Douglas MacArthur's hometown. That goes over pretty well in Busan.
Wow, you're a good salesperson. So what are you doing with the Koreans here?
So I am working with them to find great places to invest. We create innovation. So there is a lot of innovation here, and I think that there are lots of people here who know how to sell their products in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, in the Midwest Great Lakes region, perhaps from coast to coast. But there aren't that many people who know how to get a distribution partner in Korea. So I ask my Korean partners, and I say, Korean company that would want to partner with this Milwaukee business, because this Milwaukee business is selling through the Midwest Great Lakes region. Maybe they could double or triple their export capacity or their sales revenue by selling it abroad. And so those are the kinds of strategic things we're looking for, in addition to just eavesdropping on what all the MWork members want to talk about.
So this has actually happened. There's one or two big Korean companies that actually gotten involved.
Yes. The one we can talk about is Consul Chemical and their distribution partner relationship with Nitride Solutions, which Silicon Pastors has invested in. They manufacture aluminum nitride, which gets the heat out of anything electronic that gets hot. So you can imagine there are many electronic devices like cell phones which get hot. We can get the heat out with aluminum nitride templates. And so let's export away.
Sounds great. We promise to keep these short. There's a lot of things that we can talk with you, Teresa Esser, about, but you're in Milwaukee, and entrepreneurs, be persistent in finding your way to get some of her mind share and some of her attention, because it sounds like this is one person who's accrued a lot of experience about how to build big and how to scale up. So Teresa, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone tweet this out, tell your friends about it. I think there's really valuable information here. This is Dan Eisenberg from Scale Up Milwaukee. Remember, we're trying to create an environment where lots and lots and lots of angel investors can make money, entrepreneurs can build big things, foreign partners can come and make investments and bring products to their markets, and just create more prosperity. So again, thank you, Teresa, and thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you.